Hey guys, today's lesson is going to be a little bit different format. Instead of showing you a video like we've been doing, we're going to go over the actual quiz that you took and do our lesson while we do that.
Okay, so our quiz was on rates and using ratio tables. The first thing is a question about unit rate. A unit rate always has a bottom number of what, Mr. McCord?
So the bottom number has to be a 1. So, for example, how about this? 9 to 4. Is that a unit rate? To 6.
Okay, there's a 1 in that, but it has to be the bottom number, so that is not a unit rate either.
Okay, so I guess my only option then is, how about this? 7 to 1. Is that a unit rate?
That is a unit rate. That's 7 to 1, meaning that the bottom number is a 1.
Okay, so it has to have a 1 on the bottom, guys. Pretty simple on that. All right, number 2 says fill in the following table. And keep in mind that ratio tables don't just, the hard ones, the ones that you're doing, you can't just count by those numbers. So it's not like we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those were way too easy. So they're always going to give you one ratio. In this case, they gave you 12 over 3. Your first step is always to simplify it and or find the unit rate.
Okay, well, I'm going to look at that, and I know that I can divide both of those by 3, which would give me the 1 on the bottom, and would give me a 4 on the top.
So 12 divided by 3 gives us 4.
Okay, and I can look at that and say, hey, look, 4 over 1, that's a unit rate.
Okay, so at this point, we just use, we can use any ratio to find our next piece. For example, you might decide that you want to use the unit rate to solve the next one. So in order to go from 4 to 24, I know that I would multiply it by 6.
Okay.
So 4 times 6 gives me 24, and 1 times 6 gives me 6. But I could have also done it using this ratio. In order to go from 12 to 24, I would have multiplied by 2. So if I did that top and bottom, 3 times 2 would give me 6. So either way, you can find the same answer.
Okay, perfect. How about the next one? The bottom number is 7, so I don't think I can use the second or the third ratio to find that easily.
Right, it certainly wouldn't be easy, and this is definitely going to be easier. So I know that to go from 1 to 7, you multiply by 7. So 1 times 7 gives me 7. 4 times 7 gives me 28.
Okay. The next one has a 36 on top. I like to use the unit rate, so let's go back to the beginning. Turn a 4 into a 28 by multiplying by, a 4 into a 36 by multiplying by 9.
So 4 times 9 gave me 36, so 1 times 9 gives me 9. And then the next one's kind of the same as that 7. The easiest way to go is to start with your 1. So 1 times 15 gave me 15, so 4 times 15 gives me 60. Okay, so keep in mind that, guys, ratio tables, there's really just a collection of different little problems. All right, let's look at number 3. Sammy buys 6 cans of chicken for $18. How much does 1 can of chicken cost? Now, you could have done this in different ways, but they gave us a table and they gave us the categories already set up for us. So, $18 for 16 cans. The cost is $18, and there were 6 cans.
All right, so we want to start in that bottom corner because the bottom row has 2 numbers in it, so that's the only way that we can really figure out how we got from one number to another. So I know that if I divide 6 by 6, I can get 1. So if I do the same to the top, I will get 18 divided by 6, which gives me 3. And my question asks, how much does 1 can of chicken cost? So 1 can of chicken should cost $3 per can.
All right. Number 4, Jesse makes 5 pancakes and Sophie makes 7 pancakes. Fill in the chart. How many did Sophie make when there are 60 pancakes total? So I guess we need to look at our categories first. So in the first sentence, we've got that Jesse makes 5 pancakes and Sophie makes 7 pancakes. But I also need to know how many total pancakes were made. So when Jesse made 5 and Sophie made 7, that was a total of 12 pancakes. But that's not really all we have to do.
Okay, so it says what we want to know is how many did Sophie make when there are 60 pancakes total. So in the total box, I'm going to write 60 because that's what I'm looking for. And then, you know what, I'm actually going to just circle the box for Sophie because it says how many did Sophie make. So then it shows me that's the section that I'm looking for. To turn a 12 into a 60, I know I have to multiply by 5. So to finish my table, I should just multiply my 7 by 5 and my 5 times 5.
And do make sure that your numbers add up. So 25 plus 35, when you add them up, should equal 60. And they do in this case. If not, you've made a mistake and you need to go back and look. So our answer for that is that when there's 60 total pancakes, Sophie made 35 pancakes.
All right, good.
All right, let's look at number 5. Now, number 5 is a little bit different. It's still a ratio table, but it's a vertical ratio table. And if you're in my class, I've told you repeatedly that if you don't like a vertical ratio table, if it bothers you, you can always rewrite this into a horizontal like you're used to. It really doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I can see that the top row is totally filled in. That's nice. We've got 3 lemonades sold by Jake, 2 sold by Melissa, and 5 total. So now I just need to find something that's filled in order to do the rest. So instead of going side to side, we're actually going to go up and down. I need this spot right here, so I'm going to look over here. 3 times 2 will give me 6. So I should be able to go 2 times 2 to get 4. And this should match up as well. 5 times 2 does give me 10.
And there's also some common sense here. So if you have 10 total and 6 of them are lemonade, well, you could subtract that to find out that there were 4. So keep in mind you can always do some common sense things too.
Okay, well, how can we fill in the next one? I need 2 different boxes on this one, so I can't do subtracting on this. Well, this one right here is a 2 and here's a 10. I know that I can multiply 2 by 5 to give me 10. So I should be able to multiply 3 by 5 to give me 15. And then I can either say 5 times 5 is 25, or I could add 15 plus 10 is also 25.
And you actually want to do both of those just to, again, make sure that you're getting the right answer. All right, so last box.
Okay. Last box says lemonade sold by Melissa. I can look at this right here and say 3 times 7 will give me 21. So 2 times 7 will give me 14. And then I need to check. 21 plus 14 equals 35, and that's what my total is, so that's perfect.
Okay, so don't forget to answer the question though. How many lemonades will Melissa sell when there were 35 total? So make sure you know where Melissa is. Okay, so Melissa is this. So when there were 35 total, we sold 14 lemonades. Okay, number 6. Fill in the chart below, including the total. Okay, so again, 8 plus 5, 13. And then what do I do to solve the rest of it?
Okay, well, I can see that going across, I can multiply 8 times 2 to get 16. So then I can do that here as well. 5 times 2 is 10. And 13 times 2 is 26. And I'm going to check. Does 16 plus 10 equal 26? And it does. So that answers that second column for me.
Okay, so I guess our next step, in order to go from 5 to 20, I know that I multiply times 4. So, multiply 8 times 4, which gives me 32. And then add those together. So my total should have been 52. And I can check that because 13 times 4 is 52.
Okay.
Now, you know, we didn't even read the question in order to fill out in the box, and you really didn't have to. But we do need to answer the question, so now we have to read the question. Blake's team had a win-loss ratio of 8-5. How many games did they win if they played a total of 78 games?
Okay.
So I'm only looking at the games won versus the games played.
Well, there's not a total section that says 78, so I think we're going to have to add another column on so that we can make a column that with 78 total games.
So the only part that you actually know there is that you played a total of 78 games.
Okay, well, because that's the only number that we actually know, that's what we're going to have. We're going to have to look at this 13 down here in order to solve it, because this is the only two numbers that we have in the problem. So 13 times what will give me 78, and I know that that's 6. So I can fill in the rest of my column by multiplying by 6. 5 times 6 would give me 30. And 8 times 6 would give me 48. And then I'm going to check. Does 48 plus 30 equal 78? It does. So what's my question? How many games did they win if they played a total of 78 games? So all I'm looking at is the winning box, which is 48. So my answer should be that they won 48 games.
So that was all of the questions. You had one extra credit. All right, Rachel can read 45 pages of a book in 15 minutes. Her library book is due in 1 hour, and she has 175 pages left to read. Can she finish her book in time? And then explain your answer. Well, I guess we need to set up a ratio, because what I really need to know right now is how many pages she can read in 1 hour.
Okay.
So let's start by writing pages per minutes.
Okay. So the rate that it gives us for that is going to be 45 pages to 15 minutes.
Well, but I want to know how much is in an hour, so how do I do that?
Okay, well, I'm going to have to go, there are 60 minutes in an hour, so I'm going to have to do 60 minutes as my bottom number.
All right, so to go from 15 to 60, I know that I need to multiply it by 4. So do the same on the top. And 45 times 4 is 180. Okay, so I have 180 over 60. Can you tell me again what that means?
Okay, that means that in 1 hour or 60 minutes, she can read 180 pages.
Okay, so I guess we can answer our questions now. Can she finish her book? She has 175 pages left, and she only has 1 hour to do it. So, yes, she can finish her book. And how would I explain my answer?
She can finish her book because she can read 180 pages in 1 hour, and she only has 175 pages left.
Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. You could have written a little bit more, but that's really all we have for you. So, guys, take a look at your makeup quiz, study this, and then when you're ready, go take that makeup quiz and turn it in. All right, bye guys.